What was the sin that caused God to destroy Sodom, Gomorrah, and several other small towns in the Jordan Valley? In recent years, there has been a renewed interest in this question due in no small part to the not so hidden agenda of homosexuals and their friends to normalize homosexuality in this country. Agenda, you ask? There is an agenda at the homosexualization of America? Absolutely. Someone is organizing the gay pride marches and convincing mayors and state representatives that it is in their best interest to participate in them. Even now, there is someone somewhere drafting the next gay rights initiative for upcoming city, statewide, and national election. There are teachers all across this country who are discussing what will be the best way to expose your sons and daughters, your grandchildren, to the moral acceptability of same-sex sex. These people may not be working in concert with one another, though some undoubtedly are, but there is one thing that I know for certain, and that is many minds across this nation are working overtime to advance the goals of the homosexual community. In 1972, 40 years ago, the National Coalition of Gay Organizations held their convention in Chicago, where they drew up a gay rights platform. Among their goals were the following: repeal of all state laws prohibiting private sexual acts involving consenting persons, repeal all state laws prohibiting solicitation for private voluntary sexual liaisons, and laws prohibiting prostitution, both male and female, repeal of all laws governing the age of sexual consent, repeal of all legislative provisions that restrict the sex or number of persons entering into a marriage unit, and the extension of legal benefits to all persons who cohabit regardless of sex or numbers, enactment of legislation so that child custody, adoption, visitation rights, foster parenting, and the like shall not be denied because of sexual orientation or marital status. Federal encouragement and support for sex education courses prepared and taught by gay women and men, presenting homosexuality as a valid, healthy preference and lifestyle, as a viable alternative to heterosexuality. Now, 40 years ago, most would have considered it unthinkable that such goals would be attainable in this country. But through perseverance, homosexual activists have already achieved most of this platform, and they are struggling to finish their task within my lifetime. And this is a real possibility, for most of the country have embraced to some degree or another humanism, and have chosen to elect humanists to legislate at both the state and national levels. And these humanists have, for the most part, appointed humanists to serve on the judiciary. So it is a real possibility that the entire agenda of the 1972 Gay Rights Platform will be achieved in my lifetime. Yet there is one bleak spot in all this for homosexuals, and that is they have yet to convince the people of the book, the people who really believe that the Bible is the infallible Word of God. They have yet to convince them that homosexuality, same-sex sex, is not an abomination to God, but they are trying desperately to do so. In recent years, a number of books have been written to this end. Christianity, Social Tolerance, and Homosexuality by John Boswell. Just As I Am, A Practical Guide to Being Out, Proud, and Christian by John Williams. The Good Book by Peter Gomes, and The Children Are Free by the Reverend Jeff Miner and John Tyler Connolly, just to name a few. And what these books attempt to do, each and every one, is to revisit the passages that deal with same-sex sex and reinterpret them in a way that would convince us that the Bible does not condemn across the board every sort of homosexuality. Now, I will not pretend that these studies will be exhaustive. I will, however, make an attempt to deal with the strongest arguments that homosexual and homophile theologians make in defense of their position. If you wish to make comments on these videos, at least make comments using my site, well, you may do so, but only if you follow these rules. Number one, Show me from the scriptures, especially the ones that I address in these lessons, where I have gone astray. I am not interested at all in your experience. I'm not interested at all in what you feel like, but I am interested in what the scriptures say. So if you believe that I have misinterpreted the scriptures, if you believe that I have abused them to prove my point, then show me where I have done this. Use the scriptures. Number 2, do not judge my motives. Number 3, do not make derogatory remarks about my character or the character of others who hold to the scriptures. Keep the discussion on a high plane so that some good may come from it. And finally, no vulgarity whatsoever. Keep your post clean. If you do this, then we can have a good discussion on these issues, one that might be profitable for those who are really interested in learning what the scriptures have to say about this topic of homosexuality. And so until next time, I bid you well. Bye for now.